Gigsy Creator Central, and today we have Vasudev Prabhu, the creator of Pablo's Parade, with us, along with our usual suspect Nehal. Thank you, Vasu, so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Looking forward to it again, Vikram and Nehal. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you. And I think what we're going to do today is to understand the comics a lot more, right? Figure out what
Mm-hmm.
the comics are like, what are the inspirations behind these characters, and a bunch of other
Right.
questions that people would love to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Shivangi is here already, so she is coming and she's put out a smile. Let me quickly show what she has said. As you can see, she has put out a smile,
Yeah,
right?
that's her, all
So,
right. Always smiling.
yeah. So Shivangi is watching this. Bunch of people who are watching this across various platforms. We have this on YouTube Live. We have this on my Facebook profile. We have this on my Facebook page, and not my Facebook page, Gigsy India's Facebook page, and we have this on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn profile as well. So 4 different
Wow,
places where this is being
awesome.
live streamed to, and of course the video is always going to be available on YouTube Live on the same link. So if somebody misses the interview, you can always go back, but then you will not be able to ask us questions live because it will be a recorded video, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, well, yeah.
let's directly jump into the interview. Vasu, before I introduce yourself, it'll be great if you can quickly talk about what you're doing, what your journey has been like, what is your career like, because you're a multifaceted personality. Vasu is a musician, he's an illustrator, he's an advertiser, he's got a bunch of different things about him that everyone should know, and a multifaceted Swiss knife creator, more or less. So that is how I would describe him. And also, I think everyone would love to hear, your journey from your own words, in your own words and your own mouth. Yeah.
Well, yeah, my journey has been like a box of chocolates. It's like a mixed bag of goodies. And um it's been something that I have really wanted it to be pretty much the way it's turned out, actually. So I am basically a writer, and more specifically, I'm a copywriter, which basically is what you would do in an advertising kind of side of life and business. So I'm a advertising copywriter slash creative director, and much of my working life has been in advertising and working for some of India's biggest and brightest agencies for quite a few years. And I've also been a creative entrepreneur. I've had more than one hot shop, so to speak, and but I chose to exit from there because I'm still at heart a pure creative person. And sometimes the business side is something that I don't like very much. So I've chosen always to uh, tread on as creative a path as possible. So yes, advertising, writing, copywriting is one part of what I do and what I love doing, what I still do, and that's my bread and butter, so to speak. But like, you also been a fairly passionate musician. I've been in more than one band, and probably had a sort of a playing career for of more than a decade. Possibly 200 plus concerts in the last 10 to 15 years, I would say. Right now, the musician Vasudev Prabhu is on a break. He's like taken a hiatus, and especially after 2019, 2020, when the pandemic broke out, the band also sort of broke, and everybody went their own way. So no regrets. We're just going with the flow, so to speak. So no music in the last year or two, at least not the kind of music that I would like to do, which is going out and connecting with people, because again, gigs are very hard to come by. And I hope things change. I think they are changing slowly, and music will be back in my life too, I hope. But for now, that part is sort of hibernating for a for a bit, and very old love and passion for me. In fact, very old. The ideas for Pablo's Parade itself is a couple of decades old. I was telling you last time, and somehow that whole box has now come alive because of possibly the pandemic, and the fact that like a year or months ago, there was more bandwidth. I had more bandwidth because now,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, because now I'm a creative person, creative freelance animal. And one, when in 2020, I started to see my bandwidth increasing because work was really trickling down. And there were many months of absolutely no work. I didn't actually,
That
and
that's actually a very interesting point when you said
mhm.
loads of months of no work and you didn't
I
birthday for everybody.
remember,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so first March, if you remember, on Gigsy, first to second March, and
Correct.
so first September we completed 6 months, so and about 40 odd comic strips that have been put out in the last 6 months. So yeah, coming to your question about how important it is to fund artists, I think it's terribly important. It's really really important. Not just that, it's also urgent, and there has always classically existed a need to support artists. Even in the best of years, there has been a more than a huge need to support artists. And so therefore, when the chips are can you hear me?
Yeah, I think I lost you for a bit,
uh,
just
yeah, yeah,
for a
yeah, yeah,
few bits. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we're able to get you back now. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I'm saying, like, now it's always been super critical to support artists, even in the best of times. But now, when the chips are down, it's even more so. It's people must come forward, because if you look at even if you go back like a century or 2 centuries, artists and creators have always lived and thrived on the support of the people who appreciated what they bring to their lives. So at its purest, I think all art forms, which is like whether it's writing poetry or a dance, or a painting, whatever it is, all pure art forms actually create and put out joy in the world. They actually make life worth living. Because if you imagine, like, I can't imagine, I'm sure you can't either, imagine life without music, for example, right? I mean, what
Absolutely
would
not.
we do,
I mean, we've been
right?
playing for
So
such a
it would be
long time now. So yeah.
absolutely. And what would you do when you're with all your wealth, and you'll be miserable, right? I'm just one example. And if you look at art, dance, poetry, street plays, drama, theaters, fire breathers, tightrope walkers, everything, right? I mean, those are non-essential. You could survive without those, but then that life would be very dry. You probably you won't enjoy living. So I think historically, people have appreciated this, and people have supported this. So if you look at classically, like centuries ago, a nobleman or a king or an emperor would support his fine artists in his courtroom by giving them whatever, like food, shelter, and all that. And even now, to a large extent, whatever be your stature as an artist, you are in some way depending on certain patronage that the people with means can give you.
Absolutely.
And that's a
Patronage is
that's a
the key
beautiful.
word here. Patronage is
Yeah,
absolutely the
it
key word.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is, and it's a very beautiful ecosystem, because one without the other can't exist. And it's thanks to the patrons and supporters and donors and subscribers. It's thanks to them that art is kept alive in whatever form, so that the rest of the world can enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So there's also a beautiful sense of selflessness that the patrons bring as much as the artists bring, because um, by helping an artist, a musician or a dancer, keep her craft alive, you're also making sure that the world is a better place for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just you as a patron, but because of your support, hundreds and thousands of other people who may or may not support the artist financially can still enjoy that. So you are actually making the world a better place by being by supporting art and creative people,
Very pertinent point.
right?
And Shivangi here says that none of us could have survived the pandemic with the arts. I think she meant without the arts.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. She meant without the
yes.
arts. I hope
So
so.
I'm sure.
I hope she meant that way. I'm sure she meant that way.
I'm sure she meant it.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. So just to let you guys know, this is not just me asking Vasu whatever I have on my mind. So if you're watching this anywhere on Facebook or on YouTube Live, just ask us questions in the comment section, and I'll keep showing those questions here. Yeah. So Shivangi is laughing now, and she's
Yeah.
saying without also. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so please
Yeah.
make sure that you send your questions in the chat box, and I will show those questions here, and Vasu will take time to answer them. Apparently, her phone also
Yeah.
slipped, so we will show that as well. That her
Oh.
phone slipped. All right. So yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, the idea is simple, right? Support art, support artists, because ultimately there is an end product. Whether that end product is tangible or not is something that you will never be able to measure, because it hits you at your center. It hits you right in your heart, and it captures your heart. So
Absolutely.
supporting artists along their journey, very, very important. And patronage is something that's really something that artists thrive on. So please support artists going forward as well. The second thing I wanted to talk about was, and this is something that I have grown up with over a period of time, right? I mean, of course, I've been a musician and all of that for 20 years, which is
Right.
why
I do.
Gigsy also started as a result of that. But
Right.
I've been a very avid comic reader. I don't know if you know this about me, but I have the entire Asterix collection, the
Wow. Okay.
hard book collection with me, right?
Hardbound. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have the entire
That's
collection.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have almost all of Tintin's collections with me. I have a bunch of digital Dilbert comics, and I have a lot of Archies. I mean, call me juvenile
Yeah.
if you want, but we were thriving on Archies back in our teenage years and
Yes.
everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 I remember. Of
So,
course. Yeah.
so interesting space right now. I'm seeing a lot of people come forward in this illustration space. It's quite on the cusp of actually taking off, or it has actually taken off. I mean, given the fact that digital media is coming across so beautifully across the board, I think it's given a lot of incentive for digital creators to actually put their foot forward in the illustration space and start creating something in their own niche. So how exciting is this illustration comic space in India today? I mean, what do you feel? Just a quick opinion.
Uh, I think, yeah, I think you nailed it. It is, I mean, I think the digital sort of revolution, so to call it, has always has definitely created more artists. Has at least helped people to put out what they are creating. Like, even me, for example, I think whatever little traction that I've got is only because of social media, right? So there are a couple of things actually. One is unlike writing at least in India, art, there is a certain formality to it, in the sense that one can choose to study art. One can graduate and get a degree in commercial art or fine art. So it's like, there are courses like Chitrakala Parishad and like Srishti School of Design. There are dozens of them, right? You actually go there to study art, right? So that is one side of the game, basically. So you're creating people who are actually visual thinkers, who are trained in the craft of creating something with their hands. uh, so that is automatically creating a motherload of talent, right? Which can go in multiple spaces, from UX UI design to advertising design to graphic design to illustrations to all kinds of stuff, animation. So I think it's all going hand in hand. And earlier, if you were an illustrator or a cartoonist, you would basically wait to get a break with a publication, like a large newspaper or a magazine or something like that, in order for you to create your illustrations or cartoons so that the rest of the world can see. Now, while that still exists in one way, the other route is much more stronger and more vibrant, because creators are directly creating stuff and putting out content for the world to see. So I think it's a very interesting phase, Vikram. It's an amazing time to be a digital creator. Whatever be your passion, I think it's an amazing time to be a digital creator, because you there's, in a way, nothing to stop you from putting out your work, and very few excuses that you can give, because there are people. It's a tough task to build audiences, though, which is the other side, the flip side. And I was talking about this to a friend of mine last week saying, the whole social media and the digital revolution and the virtual platforms that are that are there to help creators also make it difficult for creators because of the amount of collective noise that is happening. And I'm sure that a lot of my musician friends, my artist friends, and people like that who are in the creative boat like me will agree that there is a lot of noise. The good thing is that this platform, when I say platform, I mean the entire digital package. It's the entire social media thing is a great leveler. Whether you are like a world famous sculptor or just a recent graduate who's trying to do something, you are suddenly on the same platform. It's like, so there are hundreds and thousands of creators that can make it very loud, and it's very easy to get distracted even for the consumers of art and content. It's a very loud, highly distractive space wherein a creator has to really work hard and for a long period of time to be able to build traction and to get dedicated followers. Because if you divorce yourself from Vikram, the co-founder of Gigsy, and just become a normal Vikram dude, who's got a smartphone, I mean, you're like bombarded with content all day. All of us are like, we don't, friends send us videos and pictures. We don't even complete the 30-second video. After 10 seconds, we just press a like and we send a kiss and a heart, emojis I'm talking about. And
Yeah, yeah,
so you don't
absolutely.
have
That's
time,
yes.
man. And your WhatsApp group, people are sending good morning messages till it's afternoon, and then it's good afternoon till it's evening. Like it's like there's no time, there's chaos, there's white noise. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
noisy, so it's difficult. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to break through, and it's a challenge for people to be able to see value in your work. First of all, to see your work and then value in your work. So it's both. It's interesting because it's easy and it's instant and it helps you to amplify your work and reach it out to people. But the challenge is that you're reaching out to a person who's already has very little mind and emotional space for your art, however good or bad you are. That's immaterial. And just a question of space, mental space. I think it's at a premium now. So that's a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very pertinent point that you bring up. The fact that there's so much of white noise, like you labeled it, across all digital
Yeah.
media and digital platforms. I think what we are trying to do here at Gigsy, therefore, is to get fans to really support artists or creators that are bringing their own niche to within their own community pages, right? For instance, Pablo's Parade is Vasu's Gigsy
Right. Right.
community page, where he puts out very cool comic strips on a weekly basis, and this becomes a nice little place for supporters and patrons to congregate and actually support Vasu as part of his journey. So what we are really trying to do as part of Geeksy is to cut through that white noise and let people create these community pages where they have quality content coming out, not like the good morning, good afternoon messages that Vasu spoke about, but actual quality content, cutting through all of the noise and making sure that people are paying for quality content on a monthly basis so that they can support the creator, not just support the creator, but also consume a lot of the great content. So that's something that we are definitely doing through Gigsy, eliminating all the noise and giving a nice little play area for creators to congregate and push through their own community pages. The second thing that you spoke about, Vasu, is this whole tons of digital media platforms and tons of different places where people are posting. And at this point, I hopelessly or shamelessly plug in Gigsy Bloom here. And I'll talk about what
Okay.
Gigsy Bloom does very, very simply. It
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
automates your social media posts in one click. So if you want to post across Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram in one click, you can do so today. And how do you do that? You get on to https bloom.geeksy.in. I'm going to show that to you right away in a bit, and register right there for early access. And the moment you register there for early access
Right.
to the Android or the iOS app, you'll be able to immediately start referring more of your friends. It's like a game we are playing here. You register, you confirm your email, and then you start referring more of your friends to come on board. The more number of people you refer, the faster you go up on the leaderboard and the faster you get access to the app. So do that right now. Get on to bloom.geeksy.in if you want to automate your social media posts. Now, with that shameless plug out of the way, The intent that I'm trying to bring about here is the fact that we are helping creators automate their social media posts so that they don't have to bother about this. It can go in one shot. Two, we
Yeah.
are making sure that we are helping creators with these little community pages where they get patrons to help them out and support them throughout their journey and give them quality content as well. So cutting through the noise, if you will, as much as we can. So Vasu, I think this is a very good opportunity to actually
Hmm.
talk about Pablo's Parade and, you tell people what Pablo's Parade is all about. What is the comic strip all about? Maybe introduce the, characters to all of our viewers here.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to,
Yeah.
share my screen now and get people to see it. And you can navigate me
Excellent.
and tell me where you want me to go, and I'll do just that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Amazing.
Over to
So
you, sir.
yeah, so this is the landing. Yeah. Thanks, Vikram. So yeah, characters. There are a bunch of them actually. There are main characters and your visiting professors, so to speak, the characters that come and go, guest characters. Like in all. Like all like series like this, we have a few core characters, and there is a character section. If you go down if you go down a little bit, I think right on top you'll see the bar where it says meet the characters.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right
just
on.
clicked on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's a bunch of them. So yeah, so let me just tell you about, like, in the order of appearance, like you see over here. First,
Yeah.
there's a rodent called Furlock. So
Very
Furlock,
appropriate.
yeah, yeah. Furlock is a rodent equivalent of Sherlock, in the sense he is like a sort of, he fancies himself as a detective of sorts, and he's a really flashy, slightly foolish, but flashy kind of a rat, and likes to solve crimes, but then it's he faces his own challenges. He's a funny guy. He doesn't know that, but he's a super funny and a foolish rat who thinks he's a smart ass, but he's just
Yeah,
a foolish
that's
rat.
Furlock
Okay.
for you, everybody.
Then you have the main guy.
Yeah,
That's Furlock. That's Furlock.
yeah.
And then we have Pablo, who my daughter swears is modeled after me, but
Wow. Okay.
I would beg to differ. So so. But actually, to be a little serious about these characters, I think there's a little bit of me in every character.
Mm,
So yeah, so Pablo is basically a rock, and he's one of those ageless kind of rocks, because obviously a rock is a million years old before it really becomes a rock. So
right.
Pablo is a quiet, gentle kind of a rock, slightly philosophical, and happy to be by himself kind of a rock. But and he can't move, right? Obviously. So, but his friends more than make up for his slightly sedate, benign kind of life by creating havoc all around him. So, like it or not, he's in the middle of things often, in the thick of things often. So that's Pablo, and his best buddy is a bookworm. He's called Albert. Albert is a sort of a genius, but only he thinks he's a genius. That's the problem. So he's a bookworm. He is a writer of sorts. I don't know what kind of a writer. He's a novelist, copywriter kind of a guy, but and likes to think of himself as a Hollywood screenwriter and a book writer and somebody famous or waiting to be famous, all of those kind of things. So he has that bit, and and his friends think he is a figment of his own imagination. So he's
Wow.
one of those
Okay.
creative, creative bones. Okay.
Okay.
And then we have a chicken called Cooper.
Very
Okay,
appropriately
Cooper
named.
is a complete dynamic. Uh, can you hear me? I think
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are
I can
having
hear
some
you. Very
challenges.
appropriately named is what I said. Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So absolutely. So he is. I don't know how old he is. He's definitely not very old, but he is one of those dynamic go-getter kind of a chicken who's full of energy, but his energy is often misplaced. In the sense he likes to chase ideas and thoughts which are ideas and thoughts which are not very clever, and ends up becoming the butt of all jokes. So that's him. And then we have this amazing guy called Boris. Boris is a starling, so his name is Boris Starling. So Boris and Linda, who you also see right now, are a couple actually. So just a backstory, Linda, I mean, Boris used to have a twin brother called Benjamin.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. And
Okay.
so Benjamin has now sort of reincarnated as Linda, because it's not that they've had the famous Bangkok operation. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
For a
a
second.
fresh character. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's just a new character, and I thought I would bring in somebody called Linda for two reasons. One is that I wanted to have more female characters also in this strip, apart from just male characters, and also I wanted to make Boris and Linda a pair because it opens up the playing field for the creator. My gags and my jokes can now bring in elements of those dynamics of a couple, or a girlfriend, or a family. Those dynamics start to come in because I have a character like Linda. So Boris is a complete roadside Romeo. He's unschooled, unashamed, shameless, unemployed, completely like one. He's like a brat, like a like a punk, a street side punk. Okay, but he's super smart. He's super smart. He's possibly the smartest character in the entire lot. He's a street smart, super cool, amazing attitude guy and stuff like that. His wife slash girlfriend, Professor Linda Starling, is the opposite of him. She is a doctor of everything, right? She knows everything. What Google can give you, she knows. Okay.
My God. Okay.
Yeah, she traveling professor. She has speaking engagements. She's an archaeologist. She's a doctor. She's a dentist. She's everything, right? So that's her. And opposite, in their case, opposites have definitely attracted them, right? Then we have this Wild West cactus, who is modeled after the famous Marlboro Man. So he's like a super good looking, amazing jawline kind of a cactus. In fact, he's all jaw. There's nothing else to him.
One interesting comment from Anuradha Adya here. Vasu, if you'd
Yeah,
like to take a look.
yeah. I feel that life is happening around Pablo. I want some life to happen to Pablo too. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So, in fact, Anu, I often feel that way also. And yeah, I will definitely do that. I'll put him in the middle of more action. In fact, the recent strips which I've been doing, which will come out in November, have got Pablo in them quite a bit. So rest assured, don't worry about Pablo. He's safe, and he's bulletproof. Yeah, he'll be around for a long time, right?
Rock solid
So
hashtag,
rock solid
literally.
hashtag, absolutely. So this guy, he's called Max, also called Spiky. Max is a cactus, and he's a gambler. He's like a ladies' man. He's a bullshitter. He's a bad loser. He's a show off. He's a motor mouth. He's all of that stuff, and he's 50% of what he says is completely like lies, but you don't know which half. So you're always guessing about that. And then you have a fern, just called Fernandez. He's just a piece of fern or a grass. He's basically like a mute spectator, and he's around there just observing things. So nothing much to say about Fern. And then I think we have a couple more. One is Busy. Busy is a bee, a very smart, a very contemporary thinker, always on top of things, and knows what everybody's up to, what the world is up to, and she's basically a trend spotter, basically. So she's and she's very tough. She's very tough, no nonsense bee, basically. Yeah. And finally, I think you have a wildflower called Shaila. Shaila is a seasonal flower. She comes only in spring and summer, and she's very pretty, very shy, very sweet, very well-meaning, gentle creature, and therefore everybody is everybody calls her a fair weather friend because she comes only in spring and summer. But yeah, she's actually, she has a crush on the cactus, Spiky Max. Yeah, but she can't go close to him because she's all petals and he's all thorns.
Oh my God.
That's the
Oh,
sweet, sweet
that's
life.
so sad.
Yeah, I know, but that's c'est la vie, man. Like, we all are petals and thorns at different points in time.
I know. Such an
Yeah,
eclectic mix of characters, Vasu. I mean, across the board. But
Y-
who's like the hero? Is it Pablo who's like the hero? Is there like a central figure here, or do all of them
yeah,
keep coming?
Pablo. Yeah, I think, see, between Pablo, Boris, Cooper, and yeah, I think those three are actually holding the whole thing together. and everybody else sort of comes and goes, as the gags demand and as the jokes demand, because there are jokes that only certain characters can carry and others cannot, so I have to pull them out depending on what kind of gags are being created. So yeah, that's how it is.
Unrequited love
Yeah,
personified.
that she's unrequited love. Yeah. So yeah, man, that also is part of everybody's life. I mean, come on, so
Yeah.
yeah. Unrequited
Anuradha
love,
says, yeah,
absolutely.
Linda,
Yeah.
girl power and everything. So yes, more part there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
there is basically a main cast and a
Yeah.
recurring cast from
So
what I can see here, right? I mean, that is what it looks like. Vasu, you there? I think we've lost him for a second. Are you there? I think we lost him. We will be back soon enough. I think he's just gotten into a spot of a spotty internet connection, into a spot of a spotty internet connection. But we are, looking at Pablo's parade here and seeing how, all these characters are evolving. It's brilliant to take a look at how these characters have literally come to life. While we wait for Vasu to actually come back. Um, Nehal, what do you think of these characters? Yeah, you've been following them for quite a while.
Yeah, these characters, like today I got to know like so in details, and they're so quite interesting, and everything is so like different. They're so amazing. I'm like so fascinated like by listening to all the characters and their description.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
while we wait for Vasu to come back, we are looking at some of these comic strips also. Vasu just got disconnected at this point, so we are just waiting for him to come back. So while we do that and we figure out what's going on, we are quickly looking at each of these characters uh, within Pablo's parade. Very appropriately named, as you can see. Cooper, like Cooper the chicken from a coop, for instance. Very very interesting names across the board. So just waiting for Vasu to come back while we start giving more and more inputs around what his comics are looking like. Outside of that, you can see Boris and Linda, like some side Linda, woman power, girl power to the fore, and Spiky Max, a Wild West cactus as well. This guy reminds me of a Western character, like a proper cowboy Western dude kind of character. Motormouth says whatever he wants and gets away with it as well. So, waiting to see if there are more and more, little tidbits and stories about Max as well as part of the comics. I'm waiting for Vasu to come back. It looks like he's gotten his connectivity back. So just waiting for him to come back here and we can add him on. In the meantime, we are still looking at some of these characters. Fernandez seems to be like a very spiritual character, right? Just stays there, chill, no worries, nothing, no problems whatsoever. So Fernandez seems to be a character that is very, very at peace with life. Fernandez, Fern and Fernandez. Very interesting names. I love these names. I think it's brilliant to have these names being seen. Fernandez is like that neighbor auntie who just sits in the balcony and laughs at people. Interesting, Shivangi, that you speak about that. And you don't even know why the auntie is laughing. By the way, yeah, I mean she's just laughing, but you don't know why she's laughing. So that's another thing for all you care. I think Vasu is finally here. Vasu, can you hear us? Vasu, you there? I've just added him to the stream, just checking if he's come back. Vasu, we've lost you again, I think. Um, Hey, we still have a lot to talk about, so continue staying on board because it looks like Vasu got into a bit of a spotty connection there, so he's wading through that right now. And don't worry, he's as solid as a rock, so he's going to come back. Just giving this a little bit of a thought. One second. Anu and Shivangi are keeping us occupied in the meantime. Wonderful cast. Each one is a masterpiece. Intense thought. Absolutely intense thought. Vasu, can you hear us? Are you there? Mm-hmm. We are not able to hear you actually. So can you join? Let me see if I can get a link going. We're just waiting for Vasu to come back. Had a bit of a choppy connection issue, so we're just waiting for him to come back. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Just give us some time. Just give us a bit of time to come back. Microphone access on Chrome seems to be his issue right now. I think he's probably had a power cut, so he's trying to join soon enough. And while Shivangi puts out some more interesting comments. Linda is like that woman who's on the verge of putting her husband on a leash. Wow. Boris is that Nikki Baga who uses an alias in a bar. Wow. Why not? Vasu, can you hear us now? You'll probably need to go to your Chrome settings. Let me tell you what you need to do. Go to those three dots, go to settings, click those three dots on your Chrome browser, go to settings, and let me see where exactly this thing is. Mic settings under Chrome. Sorry guys for this, just waiting for a second to make sure that, yeah, go to site settings, Vasu, under Chrome. If you can go to site settings, you'll be able to see site settings. Go to site settings and go to microphone, and in under microphone you can say ask first. Go to site settings on your Chrome, please. Chrome, three dots. Sorry guys, a little bit of a Chrome issue there, so just give us a second. Go to site settings there and allow. You can say allow, right? Allow me to access the mic and the camera. I hope he is going to be able to join us soon enough. Thank you, Anu, and thank you, Shivangi, for letting us continue. And we will see some more of these interesting comments now. If Pablo could stick his tongue out, I think he would do that once a day to Farlok. I think you should all become co-creators along with Vasu, you know. I think it'd be really cool. Maybe you guys can even come up with your own comic strip at the same time. Let's say a fan-sourced comic strip along with Vasu. I think it'll be a wonderful thing to look forward to. Yeah, total cowboy look. The cactus dude. All right, let me just mute myself for a second. Nehal will keep everybody entertained. Nehal, I'm going to call Vasu now and I'm going to find out what's going on. Yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah, so we'll be back after a minute or so. Vasu will be joining soon. So will be Vikram after getting this issue sorted out. So Vasu is here. Vasu.
Vasu, are you there? You able to hear us? He just came back and I thought it was all fixed. Now it looks like he's gone again. So we are getting into a bit of a connection issue there with him.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You're back. Thank God you're back. We are all set now. There's a bit of a connection issue, I think, in between.
Yeah, I think basically, internet of internet are troubling us.
The gods of internet that are troubling us. Very well done. By the way, Shivangi and Anu are holding fort and giving us plenty to talk about in the meantime. Just to let you know, so that I mean, she's got
Excellent, excellent.
yeah. So some of these very
Yeah,
interesting.
even I keep losing your voice also is like coming and going. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see this now? These comments
Yeah,
at the
that's right.
bottom?
He will. Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will get drunk and walk around singing whatever. Yeah, I think so. Very much. Yeah.
Super. So I mean, Anu
In,
seems
in
to be
fact, I
talking
should
about
get
the
this in,
fact
get
that
this into one of those comic strips.
yeah. In fact, I was telling them that they should probably crowdsource or create a comic strip along with you. You know, like a fan created, co-authored
I
comic
know
strip.
co-creating. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would welcome ideas, man. I would really welcome ideas. So
I think it'll be really cool to do. And there are a couple of very technical questions, Vasu, if you don't mind answering them.
yeah,
One was this. I think this is Mr. Yogeshwar. Mr. Yogeshwaran particularly asking this question. I don't know the
yeah,
perspective,
interesting
but
question.
yeah.
See, I think it's an interesting question, and I think obviously when a comic strip has to achieve a lot in a much smaller and a more pithy way, So uh, that way, comic strips I personally find are a little bit more, for lack of a better word, a little bit more intellectual because it forces you to jump. When you jump from one frame to another frame, you're possibly jumping 2 or 3 layers of conversation. So you don't show all of what is happening and what could have happened, what might happen, but you just get the core, like it's like just the main essence of the story. So basically it's a very highly distilled form of art, I would say. Comic strips is a highly distilled form of art, where the main joke is always kept in, whatever you do is basically created to you do to create or to sort of accentuate a particular joke or a gag. Everything else you remove. You just so it's about paring down, like in animations and 2D 3D. There's a lot of content, there's a lot of layers of content, and there's music and there's words and there is movement, and there's so much of stuff that happens there. On the other hand, I think a comic strip is the very other end of the spectrum, where you are taking away as much as possible, and finally you're left with such a just the bare bones version of your gag. And from that, if you remove a figure or you draw a wrong line or you loses meaning. So it's about distilling. So I think that's a big difference between the two. One is about adding layers, and the other is about actually removing stuff and making it really bare bones. So where just the joke actually thrives and survives. So
Yeah,
I
and
think
Arun
that's the
here is
difference.
specifically talking about pros and cons of digital creation for someone who has grown up with a pen and a brush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, when I started Pablo's Parade, it was actually much before the so-called online platforms were available. So for a long time, it was actually just pen and ink, and it was just doodle. So Pablo's Parade at that time was called something else, and it was just a collection of me drawing these characters on a piece of paper and keeping on collecting them like that and making a small book. So it was actually a really I wish I could show you some of the old. Maybe I can. Just give me a minute. I'll show you.
Sure, sure. We would love to see that. In fact, I think that will actually tell us how this whole thing, in fact, even came to life. So it'd be great to actually see some of these things. Waiting for Vasu to showcase some of those. I think it'll be
I
brilliant to
don't
take a look at that.
see this.
Wow.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're all like old. There's an old.
Wow.
So for the longest time they were, and I have a whole bunch of them. I have a whole, like a backpack full of old comics and books. So they're all pretty much definitely pen and ink kind of a. That's how they were all born, and you can see all the efforts to write, rewrite, correct stuff, and it's all. It's all there, That's that's from a time when actually Spiky Max didn't have legs.
Wow.
He
Okay.
was a yeah, he was a cactus that couldn't move, and yeah, so it's evolved, man. These are really old. Here's
So,
Cooper.
so I think to answer Arun's question, you can actually see how this whole thing is coming to life even in the digital medium, right? From the time it
Yes,
was
yes,
actually hand drawn, and now
yes.
it's literally transposed onto a digital medium ultimately, right?
Exactly, exactly. And interestingly, Arun, I want to tell Arun, interestingly, there are some friends of mine who know the earlier avatar of this comics and still love those black and white doodles, So there was a certain charm to that, which we have lost out because of the whole digital thing. But I just wanted to do it this way, so it's more convenient. So yeah.
No, it's
So
brilliant.
now I
It's
just
brilliant.
directly draw on my digital pad and yeah. So
I think
that's it.
one cool thing for people to understand is to, easily go to this website, bit.ly/Pablo's Parade, if you want to subscribe and support Vasu as part of his journey. That's something that you can definitely
Absolutely.
do. In fact, what I'll do is even quickly show you what these comics actually look like on his subscription page. So if you hold
Oh
on for
yeah.
a second right there, uh, this is his Gigsy subscription page, and as you can see, it's nothing. It's 245 rupees a month. It goes a long way in supporting a creator, and these are some of these very interesting bronze feed posts, his membership posts that you can see here. It's very, very cool to actually look at. Once you go down this path, and you'll be able to see a lot of interesting comics as well within. So you
Yeah,
need to
this one I
subscribe.
think is the recent one. Yeah, about winter
Yes.
depression. Yeah,
Yes, yes, absolutely. So a lot of these things are already available, and you should go and get your access immediately. Take a look at it. Get to bit.ly/Pablo's Parade. Very simple to subscribe. It takes all modes of payments. Very simple to make it happen. So any incentives that you're giving folks, Vasu, at this point in time for people to subscribe to you and all of that?
yeah. In fact, after the discount code thing came up, I've tried it out now. There is a discount on the 3 month and the 12-month pack,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
yeah, there is I think about 10 or 11% on the 3 month pack, and almost 20% on a 12-month pack. So there are discount coupon codes, and all you have to do is write to me. I mean, mail to me at pablosparade@gmail.com, and I'll send you over the discount coupon codes. And after that, it's very intuitive, along with that Bitly link, which makes it very easy for you to get to the subscription page immediately. So it's easy, and it's problem free.
Awesome. Awesome. If they have to get the coupon code, what do they need to do? Do they need to just email you to get the coupon code? Simple.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
email me. Just email me. My email ID is there in the website as well. It's pablosparade@gmail.com.
All
Simple
right.
enough. And
I'm showing that
Pablo
here for
will do the
everyone.
rest.
If you want the coupon code, just send an email to pablosparade@gmail.com, and you can actually subscribe very, very quickly, very fast, and get that coupon code from Vasu so that you can get incentivized.
Yeah.
Anu is also saying quick thanks to Gigsy too. Thank you so much, Anu,
Yeah.
for saying thank you
Yeah.
to us. Thank you very much for that. We are coming to the fag end of the conversation, very rightly. So just wanted to understand from Vasu about the incentives that he was giving. As you heard earlier, if you want to subscribe and get a pretty good offer on Vasu's 3 month and annual subscription to Pablo's Parade, email him at pablosparade@gmail.com for you to get a coupon code that you can use to actually subscribe to him for his 3 month or his annual package. Yes, so that'll be something really cool for you folks to do. Please support creators. Please support independent creators. Become patrons. Support their journey as part of what they do, and they bring a lot of joy to you as a result of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in general, Vasu, what I wanted to quickly also check with you is the fact that there are going to be ebbs and flows, right, in any creator's
I
journey.
lost you
So how
again.
do you sort of stay motivated throughout? What is it that you do in order to stay motivated and keep churning out content on a weekly basis?
Good question. Good question. I think it's a bit of a struggle in terms of making the time, Vikram. But I do it because essentially it is a labor of love. I'm passionate, and I just want. I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds of strips. They're all in the bag. there are about 10 books like this with half-baked ideas, and I also create new ideas every week. Whenever I get a couple of hours, just sit down and start doodling and thinking, and they just seem to happen. So what inspires me is everything and everybody, man. It's like just being multifaceted, I guess. I'm interested in pretty much everything there is to be, from astronomy to food to motorcycles to all kinds of stuff, so I like a little bit of everything. So I just keep getting stories from everywhere, and anybody can inspire me, and also having a diverse set of characters, I can actually adapt and create scenarios for them. So even a serious bit of business news, I can look at it in a slightly more hilarious way, and bring it out here and make one of my characters play that gag. So I think it's a question of just being aware, being open-minded, and looking at a variety of things, consuming different kinds of content, having interesting and crackpot friends like I do, so almost every conversation with a friend will spark off an idea. And and there is also lots of times there are other contents and other bits and pieces that come in, which you can sort of appropriate and then put your own spin to it, so it that also works sometimes. So it all depends. Thank you, Swasama. So Swasini, Prabhu says your creation is mind blowing, and I'm glad you think that way. Thank you, Swasini, Prabhu. Really appreciate your support, and it's amazing to have all kinds of people from all across age groups, supporting Pablo's Parade, because it is truly a universal and a non-political, non-religious kind of comic strip, and it's what it doesn't have human beings, but I think it's all about humanity ultimately.
Absolutely.
They're all anthropomorphic characters, and they think, feel, and act like humans, and they have very strong. In fact, it's my guarantee that when people look at the characters, they will actually find their own family and friends, a glimpse of that in each of these characters. So you will know somebody who's like Boris. You will know somebody who has shades of Pablo and a little bit like Linda. It's all, if you look at your own friends, you'll be able to slot them in one of these grids very easily, because that's how it is. That's how human they are. Yeah.
In fact, there's another juicy little story for you, Vasu, for you to probably take. Virat Kohli stepping down as T20 international captain after the T20 World Cup, by the way. So if you...
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
some more juicy news to be coming in
yeah.
this instant.
In fact, in one of my earlier strips, there was reference to cricket where Boris actually vandalizes a piece of art that Cooper has created for Shaila, and he fashions a cricket bat out of that vandalized art. Basically, Cooper writes a large 3-dimensional welcome to just the word welcome for Shaila, because it's summer and she's appeared. So he wanted to welcome her with that welcome sign. But the sign was vandalized by Boris, and he's taken the letter L from welcome and fashioned a cricket bat out of it. And the whole gag was about it's a bat out of L, basically. The punning on bat out of hell, So that was one of the jokes. So that was a cricket joke. So yeah, maybe I could create a joke out of stepping down from captaincy or a position of power. Possibly there is a Boris joke somewhere there. When I parrot, when I distill it down to what he just said, it basically is giving up a position of power.
Yeah.
So my will come from that. My idea will come from that single 4 words that says giving up a sense of power. I will let go of Virat and let go of everything else and just focus on giving up power and how it can be liberating.
I know.
So I would take that and create a gag with Boris. So yeah, you never know.
Brilliant. I think we've had a lot of different interesting threads of conversation today, starting from what your journey was like as an individual who went on to doing Pablo's Parade and creating these comic strips, been on this for a 6-month period now, and on an average Vasu has been able to earn around 25 to 30,000 every month from his supporters to keep the comics alive and going, and that is something that you folks should continue doing. In fact, there are possibilities of even co-creation, like Vasu said earlier. So if you want to reach out to Vasu around co-creation and anything else, please make sure that you do. You can subscribe to him in the link below, bit.ly/Pablo.
Yeah. I do need all the support because the first 2 months were fantastic, like Vikram, So
Yeah.
after that, it's been a bit of a struggle to build subscribers and to garner traction. But I am at it. I don't want to. I just want to know people to know that whoever is with me is with me for a long time, because I am not going to stop. I am
Absolutely.
just Pablo's parade will march on.
Yeah,
Pablo's parade will march on for a long
will
time,
march on.
and inshallah, it's march on for a long time. In fact, it might get more aggressive in terms of number of comics that I want to put out. But as now, once a week is a guarantee, and 5 or 6 strips a month definitely. So I do not just the weekly strips, but also those free strips which are occasion based, like World Literacy Day and those kind of things, which is free for all. I just put them out. And the other thing I want to tell all my subscribers is that when they subscribe to this, they're actually subscribing to an early access. So the comic strips that my subscribers and donors see today is what the rest of the world will see 1.5 months from now. It's actually 6 weeks advance. So what the Pablo's Parade strips that you see today as my subscriber, your non-subscriber friends will see only 6 to 8 weeks after you have seen that particular gag. So that's the cycle that I run, and I work 6 or 8 weeks in advance. So I know pretty much what's going to tickle your funny bone in November.
Brilliant. Lovely way of putting it. I think a lot of people are saying great things across the board. So thank you so much, all you folks who've tuned in. And
always waiting for Fridays. Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, everyone. TGIF, almost every time.
Thank you to everybody whose warm words are really supporting me today. Priya, thank you so much. Anu, Suhas, Mr. Prabhu, everybody, all family and friends. It's wonderful to. Thank you, Manisha. Yeah, so they're all there. They're all there behind me. So these are the patrons and the well wishers that we were talking about in the very beginning, right?
Yes.
So it's without them, there's not much that I can do. So I need people who would support and appreciate my work.
On that note, I think it's brilliant for people to support everybody here, to support Pablo's Parade as a comic. I think even Manya has come on board, and she's wishing you, Vasu, very well. So
thank you, Manya. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thanks, sweetheart. Yeah,
that's happening. So for people who want to subscribe, hit that link, go and subscribe to Pablo's Parade Comics right away. Nehal has been a spectator.
And tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your family and friends, about Pablo Parade, man.
Absolutely. Talk to everybody about Pablo's Parade. Everybody who needs to know, or even if they don't need to know, talk to them about this wonderful comic strip that comes every Friday, right? It's brilliant to see. I am a subscriber as well, so I have access to these comics too. So it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Nehal, do you want to ask anything to Vasu in particular, or are you just happy?
I'm very fascinated.
Are you being Fernandez right now? So
she's wearing sort of a green color too, bluish. So
I think you might get another subscriber today. I'm so fascinated with these stories. I'm like just gonna go and subscribe.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
These characters are so fascinated. Like I'm just.
I hope so. I hope so. Please do that. Yeah. Please follow. Yeah.
Awesome. Super. Thank you, Vasu. Again, thank you so much for joining us during this interview. And
thank you. My pleasure. And thank you for all your love and support. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Take care, Vasu. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.